So why start the campaign in Ceredigion? Well, it's quite simple really. I live near here. The office is here in Aberystwyth, and we've been working for the past 6 months on researching how direct democracy works as a political system. Every political system has its flaws, has its advantages, and if we're thinking about introducing a new political system, we have to look very carefully at what's gone before. We've examined direct democracy in Switzerland and America, and we found the problems and we found the benefits. Ceredigion isn't a key marginal, but it is a marginal. The Lib Dems won it at the last election. Mark Williams is the MP, but he only won it by 219 votes, and Plaid came second. Because it's a marginal, it gives us a chance to try out our campaigning techniques, check that our publicity material is okay, and check that our internet pledge system works well. It's also interesting from another point of view. For the Lib Dems, it gives them a chance to get proportional representation either through the Constitutional Commission or through the full referendum route. Plaid have different reasons for supporting us. They're always going to have trouble moving out of their heartland in West Wales. They don't have a much wider appeal. What they could do with this is they could use the Constitutional Commission to push the referendum process right down to the county level, down to the town level, down to the village level, where they're strong. It gives them more opportunities to work with their constituents to get things done. The people involved in politics locally have certainly seen the advantages and the benefits this project could give them. We've had councillors from all parties on the stand already. Mark Williams, a local MP, has been on the stand a couple of times now. But what's interesting is they don't feel threatened by it. They see the opportunities it would give them. We've had positive comments from them, we've even had donations from them. What we're doing now is starting up a constituency campaign here in Ceredigion. To run a constituency campaign, you have to examine all the different factors that affect the outcome of elections in that constituency. There is one particular factor that could have a huge impact on what we're doing here, and that's the university. There are 7,000 students up at the university, and most of them aren't registered to vote in this constituency. Both parties try and get them to register, both parties try and get them to vote, but they don't really succeed very well in doing that. Our approach is very different, and it really does appeal to the students. What we've got to do now is go to those students, we've got to ask them to register to vote in this constituency, and then we've got to get them to pledge not to vote. Most of the students don't live in key marginals, but by registering to vote here, they could have a huge impact and get us off to a really good start. On the basis of the student vote alone, we could hand this seat on a plate to Mark Williams, or we could deny it to him. But we're not just going to rely on the student vote. We're going to get out there and we're going to get the support we need from everybody in Ceredigion. This campaign may be about politics at the highest level. It's about sovereignty, it's about deciding how we're governed. But no political figure, no party, no union, no business is going to get behind us until we have proved that we can organise, that we're competent, and that you will support what we're doing. The media will ignore us until we've proved the same things, until we can demonstrate that we have supporters in reasonable numbers. What this is going to come down to is ordinary people saying, hang on a minute, I'm not going to play anymore, I'm going to sign this pledge, I'm going to support these people. We're going to get out there, we're going to use well-established techniques, advertising, stands, leaflets, to inform people of what we're doing and collect those pledges. We know that if we see an advert once, it gets ignored. If you see an advert 2 or 3 times, or you see an advert, you see a stand, you get a leaflet, you see a website, then we start to take notice of it. Then we start to respond to these things. Well, that's what's happening to us now. People have had a leaflet from a friend, they've gone onto the website, they've seen the stand in town, they're coming back to us and they're volunteering to help us. Once we've collected the pledges, once we've proved we can organise a campaign, once we've proved that we can get your support, we are news. This is the biggest political story of a generation. There are a huge number of stories to the campaign itself. The story of direct democracy, the story of the campaign, human behaviour, the detail of how these different political systems work. There's a huge range of subjects for journalists to write about, and the demand for information that this campaign will generate will be enormous. The Swiss read more newspapers than any other people in the world. The referendums that are part of the direct democracy process create a huge demand for information from the media, from television and newspapers. That means it's in the interest of the media to support this campaign. The more referendums we have, the more information we need, the more money they make out of us. we're not anticipating too many problems from the media. When the media start to get interested in our campaign, once we're news, people will start going to the website. Once they're doing that, we'll be able to collect pledges in the millions, very quickly and very, very easily. It's the main strength of the campaign, and that's the time the pledge system has been created for. It's going to make this campaign very, very powerful. Experience shows that almost everybody supports this campaign. Ordinary people see the basic justice of what we're campaigning for. Campaigners, politicians and activists can all see the advantages that the systems we want to introduce will bring to them. All these people will want to get involved and they will want to help us. Thousands of activists and campaigners will see how valuable this work is for them. They will see that it makes them 10 times more effective once we have these processes in place. Instead of just trying to influence a minister, they will be able to introduce legislation of their own. They're still going to have to work through a democratic process. We're not going to give them any shortcut, but they will be able to introduce policies if you support them. But that's for the future. For now we have to run an effective campaign in the constituency of Ceredigion. Once we've done that, once we've proved that our ideas are sound and you'll get behind us, then politicians will listen to us. It's going to take us a couple of weeks to get the volunteers together. It's going to take a little bit longer to establish the campaign properly. It takes a bit of time for people to get used to our ideas. After all, we're introducing a whole new political system, one that we're not at all familiar with. Nothing like this has ever happened before in British politics, and I'm sure nothing like this has ever happened before in Aberystwyth. We'd like you to be part of it. It's going to be an amazing campaign. Join us.